In December 1989, an event occurred in the northern area of Hong Kong, a region of the New Territory. There was an old restaurant specializing in delicious dishes, but it mainly served rice and pho. One day, Shang, a young man working at the restaurant, received an order for 4 people, including pho and grilled meat with egg. The address is C, Building B, Garden Plaza, right? Alright, I'll deliver it right away. Shang immediately grabbed a pen and notebook to jot down the address and went to deliver the food. The address wasn't hard to find, though Shang didn't spend too much time searching. It was an old building, cold and seemingly unoccupied for a long time. Upon arrival, Shang rang the doorbell. A strong gust of wind made him shiver. The doorbell rang for a long time without anyone opening. Posters scattered outside suggested that the house had been abandoned for a while. Shang rang the doorbell multiple times. No one answered or opened the door. Shang wondered if he had written the address incorrectly, and thinking he might have been deceived, he prepared to return to the restaurant. But as he turned to leave, a voice came from inside. Sounded like someone was trying to open the door. Shang thought he heard a voice but couldn't make it out clearly. The door suddenly creaked open, accompanied by a terrifying noise that made Shang anxious. The door opened only a small crack, but the inside was so dark, Shang couldn't see anything. The person inside spoke in a hoarse voice and opened the door just a little, as if no one was allowed to look inside. The person then passed a bill through the crack in the door. The hand was strange. Although the person only opened the door a little and placed the money outside, Shang couldn't see the person's shape. It seemed to be a man. Shang examined the bill carefully, finding nothing wrong. Shang thought it was odd that the man requested him to leave the food at the door. That night, while the restaurant was closing and the owner was checking the day's income and expenses, he noticed something strange. He discovered a strange piece of paper among the real bills. He didn't know where it came from, but it annoyed him. He yelled at the staff. Who did this? Why is there fake money here? He suspected that the real money had been replaced with fake bills. He tried to speak loudly to prevent the staff from doing it again, but he was furious and threw the fake bill in the trash. The next day, an order from that address came again, requesting the same food as the day before. Owner confirmed the order immediately and asked Shang to continue the delivery. However, the delivery situation was the same as before. The money was still passed through the crack in the door, and the food was still requested to be left at the door. People inside still refused to show themselves. That night, the same thing happened again with a fake bill among the real money. Who did this? You think I'm a fool? The owner's voice continued to shout. Seeing the boss angry, Shang informed him about the unusual delivery to that address. After some thought, the owner concluded that if the residents of that house continued to order from the restaurant, he would find out the truth. The next day, as predicted, there was another order from that address. The owner personally delivered the food to the location and received the money through the crack in the door. He took the money and examined it carefully, flipping it over and over, but saw nothing suspicious. The owner, like Shang, left the food at the door, hurriedly took the money and left, his face now filled with contemplation and confusion. Back at the restaurant, he set the money aside to observe if anything unusual occurred, to avoid misunderstandings like the previous 2 times. After completing other income calculations, he glanced at the money in the evening and was shocked. The incident scared him so much that he dropped his cigarettes and his mouth opened wide as if witnessing something horrifying. The money, which seemed normal, had turned into fake bills again. The owner, terrified and unable to believe his eyes, immediately called the police, his voice trembling. Police, it's me. Something terrible has happened. Please come here as soon as possible. According to the owner, the police hurried to the scene, but found the doorbell completely broken and no one opening the door. Police had to use force to break in. However, upon entering, they discovered the door locked from the inside. The horrifying scene before them frightened everyone. There were 4 dead bodies lying on the floor. These people had been dead for a long time. Their bodies had shriveled to bones and the flesh had decomposed. Based on the scene, they likely used a coal heater in the room to keep warm, but ultimately inhaled toxic fumes. Because these people lived in isolation and had no social interactions, no one discovered their bodies. What was strange was the empty food containers scattered around the room, which puzzled the police. Since everyone in the room was dead, who had eaten the food? The corpses were discovered and sent to the morgue for forensic examination, which confirmed they had been dead for over a month. But the food in their stomachs was only 2 days old. The results shocked the entire police force. The dead person's fingerprints were also found on the fake bills from the restaurant owner. As soon as this bizarre event spread and was reported by the media, it became a mystery the police could not solve. It became the most mysterious case the Hong Kong police in decade. According to a feng shui master, the souls of the deceased could not leave the building where the incident occurred due to the lack of sunlight, so they felt as if they were still alive. And sometimes people could still hear them talking in the room, moaning, and occasionally eerie giggles.